This, my friends, is the HOVERAir ProMax 8K self-flying drone, and to be honest, I was half expecting to discount it for being an overmarketed hype product with a bunch of half-baked features that most owners probably won't end up using anyway. Well, guess what? I was wrong. Turns out this thing is more fun and capable than I thought. Dang it. As tested, the HOVERAir X1 ProMax retails for $880. That's for the basic combo, but it starts at $700 all the way up to $1,300. For $500, you can get the regular Pro, which differs from the ProMax in three main ways. There's 4K versus 8K recording, no rear-facing computer vision collision detection, and also have the internal storage. Oh, and speaking of which, the ProMax can record up to 8K 30 plus up to 4K 1080p 120 frames per second, and the craft can also do portrait or vertical shooting, but it caps out at 4K 30. You can store media on a micro SD, and here's the slot right there, up to 1 terabytes. But for the ProMax, I never have to worry about that because there is 64 gigs of internal storage, which is nice. Top speed on this thing is 26 miles an hour, and there's a max burst speed of 37 miles an hour, which is pretty darn impressive. Battery life, of course, is very dependent on speed, environment, and recording, yada yada yada. When traveling at say 15 miles per hour recording in 8K, I was able to get a respectable 13.4 minutes on average, which is close enough to the factory claim of 16 minutes. With the battery, this thing weighs 194 grams according to my scale, and that's way under the 250 gram cutoff before you need to register a drone with the FAA, which is nice. There is no proactive obstacle avoidance. Instead, the front camera and the rear vision base and proximity sensor are capable of obstacle detection. Something to take note is that the X1 Pro and Pro Max have no GPS, so things like return to home and find my device are limited to using breadcrumbing, or at best, the beacon location. Without GPS, the owner is also responsible for manually ensuring that the craft isn't flying in or through restricted flight zones. Before I go on, it's probably best that I explain what this thing is. So you're probably familiar with traditional drones, right? Either you've owned one or you've definitely seen one in a while. 4 rotors on each side, unfolded, and a person is controlling it with a controller. That's not how HOVERAir has done things, not since their X1 and now the Pro and Pro Max. It's all done autonomously, guys, by itself. With the controller panel at the top right here, you punch in what you need, it'll fly by itself, do the recording, and come back into your hand, all by itself. That's pretty darn cool. And this top of the line model, I'm impressed with how much they've put into this. It's slightly bigger than the X1, but it's still compact enough to fit in my pocket, like a jacket pocket, realistically. And the engineering and the design of this is really spot on. So I've used this for a couple months now. You can see in the light, in terms of, durability, a couple of scratches here and there. I've crashed into asphalt, into trees, churned up leaves and all that, and there's nothing in the rotors, barely anything there. And the cage is a proprietary plastic that's very flexible and very strong, so it'll withstand a lot. There's magnets that keep the cage closed like this and open and easy to open. At the top, you see the battery panel, our battery module. You just pop it off. It stays put even if it crashes, which is nice and important. But to put in a fresh one, make sure it sits right there. Pop it in, you hear the click. It will show the battery level right there. Now, to turn it on, and I warn you here, this thing is really loud. You just hold it down for a couple of seconds. You hear the cooling fan come on, and you can just pop this open. There's a speaker down here. Some people I've seen tape this, even at the lowest volume setting, it still gets really loud. At the top left here, you see this little symbol. That's the Omni terrain symbol. It will tell you when this bottom cameras have picked up whether it's flying over snow, water, or whatever it is, and it picks up on it. It will show a steady symbol. If there's an X over it, that means it didn't detect it. Battery level is there, and here are all the different modes, flight modes, auto flight modes, I might add, that you can use. There's sidetrack, cycling, hover, and all that such. And if you need to activate it, you press the button to start it. But if you want to change any of these parameters down below here, like I can change zoom out from high, I hold down the right side and then I cycle through the different settings that I want. And once I'm happy with it, I press enter again. And that's it. Very simple stuff. Here's the LED. If it's red, it's recording. If it's green, it's not. Or if it's off, likewise. Here, the gimbal is a dual axis. Really stable and really nice to use as well. You'll see how the image quality is like. By the way, 4K is what I shoot at for most purposes, and it's more than sufficient. I know this does 8K, but I found that when I do 8K recording, when it's running, the drone becomes sluggish. Like there's a laggier Wi-Fi connection, and also the rare object sensors, they become somewhat unusable in flight. It's very unpredictable, so I tend to stay away from 8K unless you know your flight path, you're flying straight and all that kind of such. But something to note there. Otherwise, yeah, I wish there was some kind of cage or protector for this even when it's off, because with this flopping around I feel kind of insecure. So I'm sure someone's gonna 3D print something at some point, or they're gonna start selling third-party accessories to lock this down. And by the way, this has an auto standby too. After 60 seconds it will go to sleep, and you know, if you have this in a closed position, when you pop it open like that, it will go back to its previous mode, which is really nice. And because I got the basic combo set, this comes with a really nice carry case, really grippy, nice zipper action, carry loop at the top, and inside you have an elastic pocket right here for cables and cutouts for storing your drone, and also this charger, 65 watts with its own strap to hold it down, and also the spare battery and a smart charger. This thing is truly smart. So if I have a fresh battery, like I try to trick it up, if it has two batteries, one low, one high, I try to switch sides and I plug it in to charge, it would know which one is the low battery and charge that one first. In the app, there are 4 primary navigation tabs that line the bottom. There's home, hover, flight modes, as well as me. And in home is where you view and share drone footage between other HOVERAir users. Personally, I think this is a bit of a misnomer. I think the tab should really be named community or something. Now, flight modes is at first glance like a tutorial or demo of the various auto flight modes. You can select flight modes from here as well as configure deeper settings for each of those modes, but it's a lengthy 3-click process just to get started. Now, when you first get the drone though, some modes are locked out until you gain some flight time with more basic modes, which I think is a really nice touch. In my opinion though, the true home is hover, which is where most of your interaction with the drone happens. Here you can see your battery levels, manage your storage options if you like, dive into flight and control settings, add, remove, and rearrange the flight modes for the drone's on-screen menu, connect with the craft to manually fly it, use Smart Preview to see a live feed of the camera when it's in auto flight mode, and of course, view and manage your captured images. Okay, I have the screen recording. We're gonna do some testing right now. It's really bright. There's a lot of snow, so I want to see how this camera and avoidance, object avoidance, handles things, because a lot of samples I've seen so far is it's great at avoiding leaves, anything with shadows, but right now there are no leaves on the trees, as you can see, and I want to see if it will just hit branches, because those are way smaller than branches with leaves. So let me start track, and I think Omni Terrain is on, yes, according to the app. And there you go. I'm gonna walk this way. It is getting, it's gonna hit branches for sure. Based on this, oh, it's gonna hit it. Nope, 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 come on. Oh, we made it actually. All right, let's see how fast we can go. All right, let's head down the hill. Whoa. And there it is right here. It's still following me, hugging the ground. Not bad at all. I think these are deer tracks, either deer tracks or rabbit or something. I can't really tell. If you're an animal expert tracker, let me know in the comments what you think this animal is. Still working, but we're not obviously in the right direction, so let me walk up back this way and shoot you like a real dolly shot. That's not bad. Now let's try to call this back. I'm gonna put my palm out, and you see the light turn green and start recording. It understood the gesture and it'll land no problem whatsoever. That's really awesome. Now you can also, one weird thing about this is you can't view the live feed of the camera once it's in the air, but you can start it before. Like if you tap Smart View, it will pair with the Wi-Fi on the craft, and then you launch it in whatever auto mode, and you can control the camera settings, take photos, and whatnot. Sorry, I'm kind of breathing hard here. It's cold, I'll tell you what. Whew. Okay, you can see right now the camera is this way, and once you change any kind of let's do follow, change whatever mode. Make sure it acquires. There you go. And you can see, I can see myself on the screen. The feed, you can see it's laggy. I don't know how to make this any better, except for, you know, wait for HOVERAir to issue new updates. But you can see it's really choppy. Yeah, got you there. Since I don't have the beacon to test out the range for you guys, I'm going to show you what it's like between manual control with a phone and the Craft. I have a OnePlus open, and you can see on the screen right now, Wi-Fi signal is nice and strong, the symbol. Right next to that is Omni Terrain, it's green. If that thing has an X across it, or if it's red, it will only fly to a maximum altitude of 16 meters, for what it's worth. Now, another note is, I'm going to do an altitude test, just vertical, but we have some interference from the neighbor's house, our house, as well as power cables. So there is going to be some range differences there. And of course, temperature. So I'm just going to do a vertical test right now and demo it and see what the range is like. You can see the Wi-Fi signal is already like red on the top right of the screen here. But check out the view, guys. I'm already getting control lag, well, quite a bit. And you can see stuttering as well. So it's around 93 meters, almost 100 meters up. It's a pretty day though, you can see. Wow, look at that. Yeah, it's frozen everywhere. So yeah, temperatures make a difference. And I've already disconnected, and it should return to me. Once it loses signal, you see it's like on the top right, you see it's X'd out and everything. So I'm gonna get it to come down. Video feed is like, you know, but it's not bad. You know, on a good day with a different phone, I'm guessing this is a OnePlus Open. I'm guessing, depending on what gear you have, you might get the factory stated distances, but for me, this is pretty good on a day like this. Let me tell you something, it is so liberating, guys, not having to concern yourself with a regular drone controller like this. Just press a couple buttons at the top of this machine to set the mode that you need, and boom, the drone launches from your palm and does its thing. And when it's done, all you have to do is reach your palm out again, the Pro Max will recognize the gesture, and then initiate landing. Simple as that. And honestly, besides the auto follow modes and all, the whole palm landing trick never gets old for me and gets the most oohs and ahs from people wherever I've taken this so far, between here in Maine and as far down as Texas. Same reactions. This thing is highly capable, and I mean, for the price, it better be. But here's another thing, the caveat I'll add to that is it's highly capable as long as it's in auto mode. This is HOVERAir's specialty, their bread and butter. So letting the Pro and the Pro Max film subjects automatically, almost like semi-professional videographers, is where it's at. The platform is stable up to like 24 miles an hour winds. It can easily keep up with my 30 mile an hour e-bike. Image stabilization has been rock solid. There's 8K if you like, and the fact that you can record audio, preferably with the beacon, because with the phone app it lags like crazy. Now you may ask, and rightfully so, what about manual controls then? Well, it has potential. As of the current software version though, I think the feature isn't mature enough yet. If you're a precision or fast flyer, the lag is noticeable. If you're a cinematic filmmaker, the lack of customizable control response curves might also be a deal breaker. The last few updates have improved things, I would dare say so. I have high hopes, but my point is, the Pro Max as a self-proclaimed professional tool for content creation isn't perfect, probably like 80 to 85% of the way there. But that being said, At the time of this filming, DJI launched the Flip, which is more similar to this thing specs-wise than the Neo. But guess what? Even the Flip is objectively far from perfect, even coming from DJI. Have you seen how bulky it is compared to the Pro Max? It can't do 8K natively, plus only front object detection means that it can only track from behind, no dolly or side tracking modes, just lots of butt shots. Aside from perhaps $30–40 mini toy drones, nothing else matches the ease that comes with this kind of pick up and go form factor. People say that the best camera is the one you have on you, right? So having this standing by in my sweater or jacket pocket ready to go at any time is quite the game changer for my workflow. Just like my go anywhere action camera, I can carry the Pro Max on my person almost everywhere I go, and when I need to, have it fired up and recording in under 30 seconds versus like 3 to 4 minutes on say a Mini 4 Pro. Think about that. Well, I have trust issues whenever I use the Pro Max, and I'm quite sure I'm not the only one. Like, go watch literally every video out there featuring this drone and notice how each user can never ever truly not look back at a drone to make sure it's still following them, even when they have something like the beacon. I mean, you are flying a $500–700 craft without control, so it's, natural to be cautious. On the other hand, even if you're not that cautious, not that kind of person, there will be times when the drone will give you a scare. Like one day you might decide to hit the bike trails using it to give chase, and you're a couple miles in and everything is going great. And then suddenly the drone for some reason decides that it hates your guts and stops dead in its tracks, leaving you to continue on with your ride until you realize it's not behind you anymore. And then you have to backtrack nervously, hoping it didn't crash into a river or get stuck in a tree or get run over by an ATV or something. Yeah. Like I said, trust issues. In terms of image capture, a couple of things I'd like to see change through firmware updates. Please improve the out-of-the-box exposure and also the whole bluish tint, because whoever at HOVERAir thought that this should be the stock tuning ought to get their eyes checked. So what if there's 8K or 4K recording if the results look so cold and require a lot of post-editing? And I wouldn't be complaining if I could quickly make exposure or ISO tweaks, but that's not possible right now. I can't touch manual image settings in any of the auto modes in Smart View. I have to use manual mode for that, and even then, I can't make changes while recording. I have to stop it, tweak it, then record again. What the heck? And secondly, it'll also be great if my preferred camera settings can be saved as presets. This would be so helpful in terms of workflow. There also have been random system hiccups that range from mildly annoying, usually fixable with a quick reboot, to downright infuriating. Things like missing recordings. Yeah, that's bad. And wrong heights or distances in bird's eye orbit. Plus, this weird ramp up of the motors right when it's landing in your palm, causing it to almost hop out of your hand. Again, these ought to be fixable via firmware updates, so HOVERAir, please take notes. Well, ultimately, who is this for anyway? I think enthusiasts should at least consider the Pro. Image quality on both is strong, the auto modes, particularly any of the follow tracking ones, are super fun, but it's the handling and the ease of deployment that takes the cake. And of course, if you need an all-round more capable camera platform, are paranoid about running into things from behind, and just want arguably the best drone of its kind in the business, then the Pro Max could do it for you. But in either case, be sure to consider if you really need hands-free flying or if you prefer something else with a traditional controller. There are obviously plenty of those options out there. Now, pricing wise, for something with just one battery, with the stock model and no controller, I think it would be an easier nut to swallow if this was $100, $125 less across the board. You can preach 8K recording, AI path following, and other industry leading specs all you want. But the fact is, most folks are going to be looking at the MSRP first. Am I right? Well, this has been the HOVERAir X1 ProMax review, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for being here, and if you'd like to see more content like this, you know what to do. Thumbs up this video, subscribe, reshare this with your friends, and remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news lately, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you very much. Peace out and God bless. Sorry about the long video.